Hello and welcome all to Tales from the Time Traveler's Tavern. I will be your guide and navigator, Mr.E, taking you on this informative journey. Informative of what? We still don't know. But that's why I have had the good fortune to bring along with me the colorful commentary of our internet guru, my good friend Toast.
Butter is optional.
There you go. And to the other side, we have Private Snafu.
Good day, Mr.E. Good day, Toast.
Alright, now we're going to go down a traveling line of science fiction or science fiction and all that kind of good stuff.
Things that come out of Bollywood. If you are observing them from someone who hasn't grown up in that culture, all you can think is, oh my god, how do these people watch this?
Even people who have grown up in that
still do that.
Still look at it and go, wow. Because some of the stuff is, I mean, it's deliberately over the top. But there are ones, I mean, there's a video out there you can see. I don't remember what the setup was, but it's basically guys in a car, drives it off a cliff, it shoots up into the air, hits a helicopter, knocks the helicopter out of the sky to crash into a villain to cause something else to fly over it for the guy who has leapt from the car to catch someone, to land next to where everything's crashing, to have this big explosion behind him. And it's just that moment of, okay, that's it.
Yeah. And meanwhile, everybody, including Kyle Hill, if you know who that is, are looking at that going, that doesn't fucking work! Because science! Kyle Hill is the guy who does because science. So,
You know, while we were talking about horrible movies, Birdemic, that is a pretty bad movie.
I'm guessing it's something to the effect of Sharknado.
Worse. It is worse than Sharknado.
Sound like you're going to say Sharknado. It's an entirely different movie.
Yeah, that's the porn adaptation. Of which,
I do not want to watch that.
Of which, porn adaptations. Why do they exist?
Rule 34.
I don't know, but
Before that! They existed before that! They did it. They started doing it with Star Trek, for God's sake.
I don't think they started doing it with Star Trek.
Okay, that's when it became the most prominent. Once you move into the Star Trek, that's the point where it's like, dude, no.
There are IRS training videos based off of Star Trek.
Really?
Yeah.
Honest to God.
Go to YouTube, look them up.
Oh my God.
I don't know, but I read a list of top 10 funniest porn adaptations of movies, and one of the funniest ones was Jurassic Pork.
Oh.
And you're surprised by that one?
No, but I laughed. I thought that was actually funny. That is
to quote Weird Al, Jurassic Park is frightening in the dark, especially now.
This sure ain't no e-ticket. I tell them where to stick it. I sure ain't coming back this way again.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It's a little bit frightening that you can apply that to its parody as well. Considering it's a parody.
Just when everything's a parody of something else.
Oh, you mean like our
podcast?
And anything we may feature on it that survives the editing process.
Nothing survives the editing process.
It's like nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
I've actually used that.
My dad ran into a couple guys dressed up like that at the Ren Fair, and he walked up to him and said, I wasn't expecting you. And it took them a couple beats before they got it.
Working the haunted house once did that. Jumped out, dressed as a knight. Jumped out, just went, blah! Group went, I wasn't expecting that! Burst out again and go, nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition! And run away again. The guy goes, I actually didn't expect that a second time.
Oh, man. So would that make you impersonating a conquistador at that point?
No, because I didn't go to Mexico. You're thinking Inquisitor.
Taquitos.
I want some taquitos. Actually, I don't.
I was going to say you just ate, didn't you?
Yeah.
I could go for one or two right now.
Chimichanga.
You could go for one?
You know, I looked up what's the difference between a chimichanga and a burrito, and the only difference is that the chimichanga is deep fried. I was honestly disappointed.
Huh?
Which comedian was it that makes the joke that if you go
Jim
to
Gaffigan.
They say if you go to Taco Bell, it's all the same ingredients. Just
Go to any Mexican restaurant. It's all the same 7 ingredients. It's just got a different name.
Yeah.
And he wrote that because he apparently was a waiter at a family Mexican restaurant. I want to know how you get that job.
by applying.
Okay, I'll rephrase. I want to know how you get that job instead of the guy's cousin.
Actually, it's fairly easy because you remember the Chinese restaurant over behind Mineshaft?
Yeah.
Yeah, the kitchen staff was Asian. The wait staff was high school girls because they spoke English.
Yeah. There's a running joke. It's actually very common in California that the favorite foreign restaurant of most Latino or Latina diners is a Chinese restaurant because chances are someone they know is cooking.
Yeah. I was talking with someone else who was working at a restaurant like that. I'm like, so, it's like I trust things a little more if the ethnicity is working in the kitchen of the restaurant it's supposed to be. And he's like, it gets a little weird because you'll get Latinos Latinos working in a Chinese restaurant.
Yep.
You'll get blacks working in a Mexican restaurant.
Yep.
You'll get like the rednecky whites working the KFC. Mm-hmm. It's like, but then you get like the next restaurant. I'm trying to think what the next one is. Like a pizza parlor. You get the Chinese people working. It's like, why don't you just all shift back around? A lot of it's also demographics of area.
Yeah.
Though, and it sounds incredibly racist. The best burrito I ever had was from an authentic. I can't even call it Mexican, but an authentic Hispanic shop. Uh-huh. The guys barely spoke English, but their food was. It was that moment of, wow, these guys really know what they're making. As well as, the burrito was heavy enough you could, smash someone over the face with it.
Ah, the burrito brick.
It was a brick. It was nice. Took forever to eat.
Kind of like the bread I made.
Not as heavy.
You made bread that could actively be used as building material?
Externally, yes. Internally, no.
You know the comments that are made in, I believe, it's the, is it the Sword of Truth series? It's either Sword of Truth or Sword of Shannara series, where they talk about travel bread.
That'd be sort of Shannara, I believe, because they didn't have it anywhere in Sword of Truth.
But they talk about travel bread and how it will keep you alive, but it's not something and I think it's also Lord of the Rings, where it's the
that's timeless bread.
But it'll keep you alive, but it's really heavy and it's not like you'd be like, this stuff is delicious, but you're like, well, I'm still alive.
Oh, so fire cakes.
Sorry, I was just thinking of that moment of fire cakes. Normally I call them hot cakes. Hey, hot cakes.
No, fire cakes were something that people in the Revolutionary War, it was a ration they had, because basically it was a handful of flour that they then added water to make into a patty.
Like a hardtack.
And then they'd stab it a couple times with a fork, put it on the head of a hatchet, and set it next to the fire to cook.
So basically a hardtack.
Hardtack's got more ingredients.
Oh, yeah,
this was literally flour and water.
Yeah, but hardtacks had flour, salt, water, and sugar.
Yeah, so hardtacks had more ingredients than this.
And they had termites.
Termites.
Extra protein. Just ask the silverback gorillas.
That says also weevils and.
Yeah. No, I thought weevils attack.
That's Harambe.
I thought they attacked more.
They still attack grains.
Do they? I thought they just attacked corn.
There's a couple other grains. So you can get weevily bread.
Didn't know.
Weevil.
What the hell is a weevil anyway?
It's an insect.
I'm aware.
It's a pest. It just actually reminded me of an entirely different joke that's not even worth getting into, but the punchline of it is it's the lesser of two weevils.
Okay.
Yeah. You could look up the joke if you feel like it, but it's not worth the time.
I'll pass.
You get more yards by running it.
How do you spell weevil?
Weevil.
Eevil. There we go.
Yeah, the word we and then the word evil put together with no space.
And that's how you know that they're a bad insect. Because their name is We Evil. They have terrible grammar at that.
They come from the hood, okay? They're like a beetle. Yeah, they're basically a beetle.
Yeah, I see. I'll have to be careful because there's also a Pokemon named after it.
Is there?
Yeah.
I think that one might actually be called We Evil or something like that, though. They might have hyphenated it.
No. Who is that guy from work that, SBJ? He does. Yeah, we could ask SBJ. We could get him in for a podcast just to answer stupid questions.
Like that's worth his time.
We're a
Well,
podcast.
to be fair, we would be actively going, hey, would you like to answer some stupid questions? It's kind of the pardon me while I distract you for a moment sort of thing.
I do that at work anyway. We're one of the last times I walk into his office, I just open the door, he looks up, and I go, I'm here to steal your fire extinguisher. Okay. Looks back down. I come back holding a fire extinguisher, and he goes, are you changing it out? I'm like, no, I need to write down some information. He says, why'd you bring another one? I'm like, because this has the information I need on it. He's looking back and forth, he's like, but I already have a fire extinguisher. I'm like, just run with it, just run with it. I look down and go, no, actually not this one, I need this one still.
What were you doing with the fire extinguisher?
I was doing a fire extinguisher check.
Okay.
Oh, so this joke might need to be cut out. But I saw a picture of two women, like one woman behind the counter and the other one. But it's two women. What?
Toast.
Fucking hell! God damn it! Well, this will have to be cut out. But anyways, I still want to tell the joke. So there's the two women behind the. Or there's one woman behind the counter, one in front of the counter. It says, at a dildo factory, like with two asterisks there. And then it says, woman one. And she's like, oh, how may I help you? And the other woman's like, oh, I'd like to see that red one on the wall. And the other one behind the counter is like, that's a fire extinguisher, you sick fuck.
Okay. As soon as you said red one, I knew where you were going. Although, for what that's worth. Aw, they're hugging. For what that's worth, I do have a story about that.
All about how.
Oh, no.
My life got flipped, turned upside down.
No,
Did you ever see that one? The video of the guy who called into the political talk show and started reciting the lyrics to Fresh Prince?
Why?
Because it became a thing. Because the host of it would not react to people, no matter how stupid or how insane they sounded.
Or how insipid.
He was always very flat. That moment of, okay, next caller. Yeah, people would be like ranting or waving. Okay, next caller. Yeah, it was always that. So people they'd deliberately start trying to get a rise out of the guy. And he's just listening. It's like, okay, next caller. It's like, sorry about that. It's like, those are the lyrics to Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And our next caller is... And he refuses to rise to anything.
Wow. He's flat out an automaton. How do you manage that one?
We should try that in one of our podcasts.
What's that?
Just,
Being monotone?
yeah, be completely monotone. We could be like the lead singer from Cake.
You know, I'll tell you honestly...
Hello, my name is Jimmy Pop. Bloodhound Gang.
You and me, baby, we ain't nothing but...
No. He's talking about The Roof is on Fire because he sings monotone throughout that entire song. It's like Ben Stein actually singing the song, but it's not because it's Jimmy Pop.
But did you ever watch Win Ben Stein's Money?
Yes.
He actually...
Yeah, he has a great range. I don't know why they insist. It's got to be from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, where they saw that and then said, this is the guy that we're going to have do this for 30 frickin' years.
Put it in her gut locker. That's still my favorite one.
Anyway.
That was a quote from Bloodhound Gang.
Where was I going with
I don't know. Where were you going with that?
I don't remember. Oh! ER stories.
ER stories.
I've heard stories that have occurred in this country that are just wrong and slightly bizarre.
I like wrong and slightly bizarre.
Yeah, I figured you
We
might
don't want to hear
appreciate.
about your dating life.
Yeah,
Damn
I
it!
You might appreciate that then. For example, I'm sure it's no shock to you that there are women who are forced to show up to the emergency room with various objects lodged in them, sometimes mildly phallic, such as frozen hot dogs and bratwurst that freeze to the inside because they didn't bother to defrost.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. There's stories of people who decided to love their pets rather than just love their pets. And so, they decided, well, he likes long walks on the beach, he's loyal, and then they forget about the swelling that occurs in those animals. Yeah. Exactly what you're blinking or trying to Morse code your way away from is in thought while you're blinking there. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. But the two particulars that always stick out in my mind would be the couple, I believe in Pennsylvania, that showed up to the ER. Each of them have fancy napkins over wound. The woman has one wrapped around a fork, which is lodged in her temple. The man has the other napkin wrapped around certain of his person. I'll put it that way. And apparently, what had happened is they're a married couple. They're out for their anniversary, and she decides that she's going to partake in a certain activity that involves her going under the table and him staying put. But she's an epileptic, so while she's mid-stimulation, she locks on. So out of pain and desperation, he grabs a fork and stabs away at her temple, trying to get her to let go. So there's that, which is just a reminder to never let someone with epilepsy fillet you. But the other one I heard of harkens back to your little fire extinguisher story there.
Oh, yeah.
Where we'll say, overly morbidly obese woman shows up to an ER in New York complaining of stomach pain. And they say, okay, well, we'll check you out. And they say, okay, well, we're going to go downstairs and take an x-ray. So they take an x-ray, the radiologist looks at it. He's like, I'm sorry, but no. This can't be right. We got to get her to a different machine. Really? A different machine? Yeah, we have to get her to a different machine. Why? Because the result I'm getting is not no. So they go to a different machine. While they go to that machine, the technician is checking out this first one to make sure that it's wrong. They go. I gotta get something.
All right. Well, on that note of fact, validation, and verification, any other shuns we should add to that? Parting words, Snafu?
I don't know. It's above my pay grade.
Okay. And Toast?
I can't believe it's not butter.
All right, then. Once again, this has been your navigator and guide, Mr. E. Thank you for joining Tales from the Time Traveler's Tavern. So that's it.